Here's our current structure. We have this main class that is dependent on these four classes for sending a notification. There are two problems with this structure. The first problem is what I told you in the last video. Sending a notification is a bit difficult. Every time we want to send a notification, we have to follow a number of steps. So that's the first problem. The second problem is these couplings. Our main class is coupled or dependent on four classes for sending a notification. Now, what if we have 10 other classes in our application where we want to send a notification? With this structure, each of those 10 classes should also be coupled to these four classes. That's a lot of coupling, and that means if any of these four classes changes in the future, several classes in our application might be affected. We want to reduce coupling, and that's the problem that the Facade pattern aims to solve. So we can introduce a new class called notification service with a single method called send. Here we have two parameters, message and target, and both these parameters are string objects. So our notification service is going to be dependent or coupled to these four classes for sending a notification. All that complexity, all those steps for sending a notification will be implemented in the send method of this class. With this structure, our main class doesn't have to be coupled to these four classes. It can simply talk to our notification service. By the same token, if we have many other classes in our application where we want to send a notification, those classes should only be coupled to a single class. That is our notification service. This is how we can reduce coupling. Now, with this structure, if any of those four classes changes in the future, we make the necessary changes in the notification service. None of these classes in our application will be affected. And this is what we call the Facade pattern. Facade means front or face. So in this structure, this notification service is acting as a facade or front of our notification system. These classes in our application don't need to talk to those four classes to send a notification. They can simply talk to this notification service, and this class will forward that request to those individual four classes. So next, I'm going to show you how to implement this pattern and simplify our code.